So the government was shut down on Wednesday, October the 1st. Today is Sunday, October the 5th. The reason why it is shut down was because the Senate could not get 60 votes to get a continuing resolution through. Now, the problem that I have is I don't understand why they're doing a continuing resolution. I think by now they should have been prepared to produce a budget, because the fiscal year for the federal government starts on October 1st. So why there's not a budget, I'll never understand. But a continuing resolution was passed to fund the government through October 1st back in March. And back then, 7 Democrats crossed the aisle to support the continuing resolution in order to keep the government open. Their base revolted and fussed at them for not getting something out of it because they had leverage. So that's what they're doing now. Are they being hypocritical? If you want to look at it that way, you can make the case that they are. But you can also make the case that, hey, they have leverage at their disposal to get something that they want. So in order to get something they want, they're willing to play hardball to get it. And so by shutting the government down, like, hey, we've got to save healthcare, and we're not going to pass this resolution or this budget until we get it. Because one thing different between now and March was back then, the healthcare tax credits were in place. Well, they're soon to be expiring, so the Democrats are using this budget season as a reason or as an opportunity to try to keep those credits in place, to renew them. So, and the credits are there to make insurance more affordable, which is something that I'm in support of. I'm a person who supports universal health care. So that's what the Democrats are arguing for. Now, that being said, the Republicans also have the right to govern as the majority party. Now, this is something you heard during the Biden years, was that the filibuster, which is what requires there to be 60 senators on board with legislation in order for it to not be filibustered. Many far-left Democrats argued that, or maybe I should say progressive Democrats argued that the filibuster should be nuked so that way they could get things through with the Senate with a simple majority. I think in most states do not have a filibuster in either chamber of their legislatures. Now, I believe in Nebraska it's a unicameral legislature composed of only the Senate. I think they do have a filibuster. I'm not sure about anyone else as of yet. The state of Tennessee, where I'm at, I do not believe they do. But the Republicans, which ironically, they're not talking about this, so this must really be something that they believe in. They are not talking about nuking the filibuster, but in order for them to get through their policies, many of which I don't support, but once again, they do have the right to legislate as a majority ruling party. They could nuke the filibuster and get that continuing resolution through, not just as a CR, but also as a full-on budget if they so choose. Not sure why they're not going that route, because the filibuster has been destroyed for so many things like judicial nominees, presidential appointees in government, things like that. So I don't know why they don't just nuke it all the way across the board. And I mean, the House one time had a filibuster. They did away with that probably over a century ago. I'd have to do my fact checking on that, but they did away with it many years ago, like I think 1800s or something, and no one misses it. So they could do away with the Senate filibuster. No one's going to miss it. And so that could be a way for Republicans to be able to legislate as a ruling, governing majority party, you know. But as far as the Democrats, is it a hypocritical move? To some degree, yeah, you could definitely make that argument. But because they are making it based on trying to save healthcare and make healthcare more affordable, and they currently have the leverage to do so, then I understand why they would do it. So that's kind of an explainer as to, or even my take, based on what's happening right now. So there you go, folks.